Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your September 2020 love and relationship reading. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. It's brand fucking new, so it needs all the support it can get. Please remember to like, to comment, and subscribe, as well as check me out on Instagram at claire.voyant.queen or on Twitter at _Claire_voyant. Please remember these messages are general, so they may or may not resonate. And please also remember that energy is vice versa. So this could be about you or this could be about your partner. But thank you so much. Cannot wait to get started. Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your September 2020 love and relationship reading. Let's get started. What can I expect for Scorpio for September 2020? What can I expect for Scorpio? Scorpio for September of 2020. What can I expect for Scorpio? Scorpio for September of 2020. Scorpio. Scorpio, September of 2020. Scorpio for September of 2020. This one's on the verge of falling out. I heart you. If everyone really knew how much they were loved, not only from above, but by those now in their life, there'd be little hearts drawn on everything, from wheelbarrows to skyscrapers to jumbo jets, and I look forward to that day. Big heart, the universe. So, feels like someone's in love. Might be you, might be your partner, but you might have a crush. You might be romanticizing about someone, but let's kind of dig in a little bit deeper. Tell me about Scorpio for September of 2020. Tell me about Scorpio for September of 2020. Tell me about Scorpio. Scorpio for September of 2020. What should I know for Scorpio for September of 2020? Okay. What should I know for Scorpio for September of 2020? What should I know for Scorpio for September of 2020? Okay. Scorpio, you are, the Lamb. We got a truck passing. Okay. Your partner is the Elephant. Okay. That's very beautiful. In your emotional connection, we have the Cobra. The Cobra has come up a lot. And in your physical connection, we have the Earthworm. Okay. So I've decided to start reading all of the descriptions from the book and then talking about how they're all kind of relating to each other and how they might be relating to yourself or your partner. But let's start off with the Lamb. It looks like you have, 2 earth placements and 2 fire placements. So there might be earth or fire in your chart or your partner's chart. But let's start off with the Lamb. Let's see here. You know, sometimes, I swear. Okay, here we go. Lamb. Okay, Scorpio. Peaceful, prophetic, patient. The Lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Through the Lamb's message, pardon me, though the Lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, and receive. I'm getting a couple things from this. Pardon me. I'll drink of water. I'm getting the impression that whoever you have a crush over, you have a crush on, or that you're romanticizing over, is actually someone from your past. Could be someone close to you. It could be someone coming back in. It doesn't feel like a new person. It feels like you already know this person. And it feels like you might have a history with this person. But there's some sort of crush or love relationship going on with someone you already know. Also, it feels like, though the Lamb's message may channel through another person or it may channel through your partner, right? And we'll kind of discuss that when we read the Elephant. It feels like someone might be coming to you with an important message, right? It feels like, it kind of feels like almost they are doing they're doing the physical work to get to you rather than you to them. It feels like they're approaching you, they're coming towards you versus you actively taking steps to seek them out. So it could be that you have a past connection with this individual and you have a crush on this individual, but they could also have a crush on you as well. It feels reciprocal, and it feels like you already know this person, and it feels like they're putting in the majority of the work. And I also think it's interesting that it says, approach this gentle creature with the utmost patience and reverence. So I have a feeling that you're kind of like in your own bubble, so to speak. It feels like they're approaching you because you are not approaching them, but you're not approaching them for a reason. It's probably because you've been hurt in the past or something along that line. But it feels like you're kind of in your own little bubble, or you're allowing people to come to you. Okay, let's keep going. The Elephant. Let's see here. Unstoppable, auspicious, and wise. The Elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the Elephant represents immense wisdom, as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles, so if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with light and self-knowledge. It also kind of feels like, it's talking about, the Lamb was talking about some sort of message, right? Some sort of message that resonates in yourself or resonates in another person. And it feels like whatever this message that is coming towards you or is coming to you is actually coming through your partner, coming through this elephant. It feels like this connection might take a while to get going, is kind of how it feels. I'm kind of getting the sense of like some sort of winding road. It's not really a straightaway, right? It kind of twists, it kind of turns. Sometimes the path is clear, sometimes it's not clear. And so it feels like whatever this connection may be, it feels like it's probably been going on for a while. It's been going on for a hot minute. And it feels like there's still a little bit of work to do in order to get to a full-on connection, is how I'm feeling. But at the same time, there's still a lot of love here, which is really cool to see. So let's keep going with the Cobra. The Cobra. Pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The Cobra represents a teacher or a spiritual guardian. The Cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the Cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Yeah, so it does feel like there's a waiting game happening here. It feels like there's a lot of love. It feels like there's a lot of love, which is really beautiful to see. But it does feel like there's some sort of waiting game here. It feels like there's some sort of knowledge or some sort of wisdom coming from this elephant to this lamb, which is really beautiful to see. It's also really indicated by the Cobra. But on the same side of the coin, it does feel like there's a waiting game. There's a patience, there's a hovering, and it feels like things are taking their time to progress, or things are taking their time to come towards you, even though there's a lot of love. But the love kind of feels like the motivation for coming towards you, right? It feels powerful enough to actually make this happen, but it just does feel like it takes time. And then in your physical connection, we have the earthworm. Let's see. I've decided to read these descriptions because I feel like you get more knowledge when I read the descriptions, and then we can kind of talk about how they relate to each other. So this is kind of the benefit of this. Earthworm is shy, hesitant, reluctant to share the inner vision. We have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm indicates a newbie or a novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember they once felt the earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or to lose hope. Mastery takes time, and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it that beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. Yeah, there's definitely this energy of, I'm really, really, really strongly getting the impression that you know this person, that you know this individual, that there is a past history with this individual. Whether it was romantic, whether it was platonic, it was something like that, but it does feel like there's a past history with this individual. And it feels like there's a lot of love. It feels like there's a lot of love on both sides, right? It feels like you love them, they love you, or there's some sort of crush element. It does feel very lighthearted. But it also feels like there's a waiting game. It feels like there's a patient like hovering. It feels like there's a patient watching. It feels like there's almost a lot of work to do to get into something more stable and something more committed and something more long-term. But it does feel like there's a lot of power in it. And I think there's this kind of the impression of you, it feels like your partner is doing a lot of the work, right? It feels like your partner is really charging forward, charging to you. Do you feel on this elephant card? It almost feels like he's moving. It almost feels like he's charging, he's moving forward, he's progressing, right? There's that energy of like forward momentum. But this lamb almost feels like paused, almost feels like paused in thought, deep in thought, It's almost still. There's like a stillness to this card, but it's a really, really beautiful, like innocent stillness. And so it kind of feels like there's almost like a trepidation. I'm hearing trepidation, a trepidation about you approaching this person, or just overall, you're a little bit nervous, which is kind of funny. I feel like a Scorpio is never really nervous, but maybe this person makes you nervous, which is kind of cute. And it kind of comes from this really lighthearted crush energy. It feels really good. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like really, it just doesn't feel like bogged down. Some relationships are incredibly heavy, right? But this doesn't feel like that. This feels incredibly lighthearted. Feels incredibly free. Feels incredibly like, almost just like a breath of fresh air. Feels really good. Let's dive into some normal tarot and we'll kind of break this down. Tell me about Scorpio. Oh, here we go again. Here's my shuffling again. Tell me about Scorpio. For September 2020, tell me about Scorpio. For September of 2020, tell me about Scorpio. For September of 2020, tell me about Scorpio. For September of 2020. Okay. Tell me about Scorpio for September of 2020. This card wants to come out. Okay. New beginning, some sort of new beginning. Tell me about Scorpio for September 2020. Tell me about, got another card that wanted to come out. Okay. Tell me about Scorpio for September of 2020. Okay, Scorpio, in your current situation, we have the World in reverse. Okay, in your partner's current situation, we have the Four of Cups. Interesting. In your past connection, we have Justice. In your current connection, we have the Three of Cups in reverse. And in your future connection, we have the Four of Swords in reverse. Okay, so let's kind of take a look here. Let's see. 2 cup cards, we got 3 sword cards, so we're very logically minded here, especially with Justice too, right? There's a lot of like mental cognition, a lot of like thought process. There's a lot like going on in our head surrounding this connection. It feels very, very mental. It feels mentally clear, which is really great to see. You might be dealing with a Libra, that's indicated by the Justice card. You also could be dealing with, I think the World really doesn't have like a zodiac sign that's heavily attached to the World. It's more so fixed energy. So a lot of it is, I believe, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio is fixed energy. And I'm forgetting the air sign that's fixed. I'd have to check that out. But there's definitely some sort of like fixed energy going on in here. And it could be a Libra placement as well, either you or your partner or something along those lines. But the World in reverse here, right? The World is the final card of the major arcana. It really has to do with the hero's journey. And the hero essentially has gone through this whole journey and they've had many conflicts and they've learned a great deal and they've applied what they're learning and they've kind of made a final decision. And it's almost like it's the end of the road. It's the final card, right? And so when the World card appears, it really talks about one chapter ending for one new one beginning, right? So there's kind of this indication of closing out some sort of, I wanted to say a relationship, some sort of like, could be some sort of relationship or some sort of situationship or something of that line to kind of welcome something new in. But there's kind of this indication of not wanting to close the door. You know, the World card is in reverse, right? And the World in reverse is indicating that we've completed the cycle. We've learned everything we need to learn. We've made the final judgment call, but someone does not want to close that final door. Someone does not want to close that final cycle. So there's really this indication here of like, of like not wanting to shut down something that's already happened. Something has happened in the past. My guess is it was something that was produced a great deal of anxiety, maybe even depression, a lot of like mental like torture, right? It feels like there was a lot going on inside. And it feels like we're almost recovered from that, right? We're recovered from that. We're moving on from that. But at the same time, it feels like we also do not want to give that up for some reason. Sometimes we're attached to uncomfortable situations because honestly, uncomfortable situations are what makes us feel the most comfortable, you know? So it feels like there's kind of this energy of like not wanting to give up on a situation or give up on a relationship or close one door to open a new door. And the Lamb card here, you know, again, talking about this like childlike like innocence, talking about like this stillness, talking about this almost like, I think in the beginning I talked about being in the bubble, right? Being in my bubble, not wanting to come out of the bubble. There's kind of this essence here of like being trapped in the past or being trapped in a situation or not wanting to give something up, right? It literally kind of feels like too, you know, like this whole circle here indicating the world, right? Feels like that is your bubble. Feels like you don't want to come out of your bubble. There's something about being in a bubble, something about being trapped, but you're also allowing yourself to be trapped in some sort of situation. Then over here with your partner, right, we have the Four of Cups here. And this person has 3 cups neatly stacked, neatly organized. And the universe right here is literally offering him this 4th cup right here, right? It's literally coming out of a cloud. This hand's coming out of a cloud and offering him this 4th cup. But he doesn't even seem to acknowledge it. He doesn't even seem to care that there's a 4th cup here. It's kind of a card of apathy, of really not, you know, I kind of want to say really not giving a shit, really not caring, you know? It's kind of this card of like, it's the card of me. It's card of like being like emotionally absent, right? So that's kind of odd to me because it does feel like, you know, someone's coming towards you, but how could someone come towards you while being essentially emotionally absent? So let's go ahead and clarify this really quick because this is really interesting to me. Ooh, Sun in reverse. I didn't even ask to clarify it. Let's pull one more card. Clarify the Four of Cups. Clarify the Four of Cups. Clarify the Four of Cups. Ooh. Clarify the Four of Cups. Clarify the Four of Cups. Clarify the Four of Cups. We're going to pull one off the top. Clarify the Four of Cups. Page of Pentacles. Okay. So right now it feels like I'm getting the impression that a lot of this might be some sort of future outcome or some sort of like, you know, we kind of talked about how this road was incredibly windy, right? We talked about how this journey is relatively slow, like it's going to take time. You might know this person, there might be a little bit of a crush here and there, but it might take time on this journey. It feels like your individual, like currently, or your person now, or your partner currently is undergoing kind of, I don't want to say depression necessarily, because I don't think it's depression. I think they kind of have a negative outlook on life, to be honest. It feels like, you know, they're really not manifesting what they want in life. It feels like they're suffering from a lack of abundance, a lack of positivity, a lack of growth. They might be going through some like financial troubles right now or something along that line. And it feels like they kind of just have a very pessimistic outlook on life, which is interesting. Your person may be a Leo because we do have the sun placement here. But I'm kind of getting the impression that it just kind of feels with your partner, it feels like a very solo energy. It feels like a very stuck energy. It feels like they're a little bit pessimistic, a little bit negative, and it feels like they're just kind of going through their own shit right now. But it does feel that this relationship is slowly building, right? We have the indication of the earthworm that talks about like the beginner, that talks about slow but steady progress. We talk about the elephant that both charges down obstacles but also produces obstacles, right? We talk about the cobra that's sitting there patiently watching and waiting and hovering. So there's definitely this energy of like some sort of connection going on, some sort of connection that's deeply fueled by like, it feels, I keep wanting to say crush, like crush, 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 because it feels like it doesn't feel like it's a very, very, very heavy romantic love energy. It just feels like a crush. And it feels like this relationship's kind of hovering there. It's hovering and it's waiting and it's being patient. And it might be because both of you have to close out some cycles, you know? It feels like you might have to close out a chapter of your life or close out a relationship of your life and really step outside of your bubble. And it feels like your person might really need to kind of change their perception on how they're currently dealing in their current situation. We also pulled the Page of Pentacles, right? So your partner could have also an Earth placement as well. So they could be a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And this is someone, you know, who is just starting off. He's just starting to learn, right? He's learning about stability. He's learning about security. It's some sort of message that's coming in for them or you about some sort of like stability or security. I do think it's interesting. I keep getting the impression that they might be having issues at work, or they might be having issues with like money or like some sort of monetary value or some sort of like something involving like material gains, right? It feels like they're having an issue with money, and they're just kind of starting to like really tackle it, really work on it, you know? Feels like they're really stuck in their own little world here. In your past connection, we have Justice. So again, you could be dealing with a Libra. So it feels like this relationship has been incredibly balanced. You know, one person gives, the other one receives. It feels very good. It feels very secure. It feels very honest too. It feels very strong, very honest. In your current situation, we have the Three of Cups in reverse, right? And this is the card of like friends and family and socializing and dating and going out in the world and communicating and talking. Like, look at how much fun these girls are having right now with like these like goblets of wine, and they're cheersing each other and they're enjoying each other's company, right? But it's in reverse, meaning that it's not necessarily that you are not friends with this person or you are in a fight with this person. It's more so that I think you guys are just not communicating, not talking. It feels like you're taking time out for yourselves, right? If this is a card of like companionship and coming together, in reverse, it would really indicate almost like alone time or isolation, right? Us being in quarantine, not really surprised. So again, it could be that, again, you're kind of isolated, kind of in your own little bubble here, and they're kind of isolated because they are kind of working on their own shit. Then in your future outcome, you have the Four of Swords in reverse, right? And it's talking about, you know, Four of Swords upright really talks about someone resting, someone relaxing, someone recuperating. A lot of like mentally taxing energy, and they're kind of taking a break and they're kind of going internally and they're just kind of processing all of this, and they're kind of just allowing themselves to take a break, right? Which honestly feels a lot like the Three of Cups, right? Going from a 3 to a 4, right? Going from some sort of isolation energy, going from some sort of break energy into the reverse, which really talks about waking up, right? Which really talks about like having rested, like the batteries are recharged, like I'm mentally rejuvenated, right? And I'm ready to think clearly and I'm ready to go forward here. It feels like you're just kind of in your own little isolated bubble right now, but there's someone on your mind. It feels like there's someone on your mind. It feels like you have a crush. It feels really cute. It feels really light. And it feels like you just kind of need your own time right now, but it's still kind of in the back of your head. And then in your overall connection, right, and these cards wanted to pop out in the beginning, so I usually treat these as more so like overall energies for the connections. Feels like, sorry guys, camera battery died, but going back here, when the Nine of Swords comes out in reverse, right, it's usually an indication that it was once upright. And so there was some sort of mentally draining, mentally taxing situation here that had you really in your head, probably a lot of anxiety, probably a little bit of depression, probably a lot of sleepless nights, maybe even some nightmares or dreams that really kind of shook you. But it feels like you're really recovering from that, which is really great to see, right? And nines leads to tens, and tens lead to endings, and endings lead to new beginnings. And we have an Ace of Swords here, which is really focusing on a brand new beginning, a brand new honest beginning, a brand new beginning involving communication, involving truth, right? It feels really strong. It feels very stable. It feels kind of like almost almost like a light in the dark, kind of following a light in the dark. It feels really good. It feels really strong. I feel really good about this. Kind of feels like you're going through some shit. You still might be going through some shit. You still might be kind of in your bubble, kind of in defense mode here. But it kind of feels like, take the time you need, take the time out you need to recover, to heal. But it feels like when you do kind of process everything, when you do heal everything, you're going to kind of come out and it's going to feel really good. You're going to feel like you're on a new path again. You're going to feel like you're kind of charging forward. And this relationship might slowly develop over time. This relationship doesn't feel like it's going to occur in a week. It doesn't feel like it's going to occur in a month. It feels like it's going to occur in like 3-4 months, right? It feels like it takes time. Whatever this connection is, whatever this little crush is, it feels like it takes time. And it feels like it's both because you're both in your own little worlds right now. And once you recover from that, then you're actually able to go forward, and then you're actually able to accomplish shit. It's going to feel great. But Scorpio, thank you so much for coming to your September 2020 love and relationship reading. And I will see you next month for October. Thanks, guys.